We're talking about why Billerica became a resort location, so I have a few questions for you. So, how long were you visiting Billerica for?
I'm going to bog you down right away. I was born here. But I know about the summer people
Where did you come from? Like
here.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm just.
I should have told you to get rid of those questions.
Yeah. See, these are just.
But you can ask her about people she knows who've come
Yeah.
and where they've come from and
So,
stuff. You know.
Originally, how's this? My grandparents came here, summer people,
And when would that have been?
about 1910. My grandmother, as a gift from my grandfather, bought a cottage on the river, on the Concord River. And she eventually bought two more. My parents bought one of them, and my uncle and aunt bought the second one. So I grew up in one of them, and when I got married, I bought the second one, the third one. So I've been here forever.
So, were there many people who traveled for summer vacations?
I would say there were probably 50 families that came up. Most of them came and stayed for the summer. Some of the cottage were rented out to other people, but most of them came for the entire summer, yeah.
So it wasn't like an annual thing then?
Yes.
Like what kind of people came here?
They were mostly fairly well-to-do, really. One guy was an engineer who built, I hope I get this right, the staircase in the governor's mansion in North Carolina from Billerica. There was the owner of Squirrel Candy.
Oh, the molasses
Yeah.
nut candy.
Yeah, he came for summers. I don't know where he came from. Most of them came, one of the reasons they came to our section is there was a bus line from Boston and Cambridge. So most of the ones in my area came from the Arlington, Cambridge, Medford area. Now, like my grandfather didn't drive, and he had a family of 6, and they took the bus up. And my grandmother and the kids would stay here all summer, and he'd come up on weekends.
Where did the bus go to?
Lowell.
Right by those apartments? No, I mean,
Oh,
where?
yeah, up
it
Concord
stopped.
Road. It came up through Arlington Heights and up Concord Road into Lowell.
Was there other like forms of transportation that really was a major key role in getting people to Billerica?
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
So you said you come from what part of Billerica?
Ramlet Grove.
What was it like during this?
A man by the name of Colonel Ranlett, who was in the cavalry, First World War, owned that whole section of Billerica. And around 1900, for some reason, he sold it. And one man bought all but one piece, one lot. Colonel had it all divided into lots, and one man bought all but one. That man built his own house, and I think it's on the map if you can read it, contractor just started in 1900 building cottages, and till about 1920.
What was like the quality of like different transportation that came out here? Because I read something about like how they had a train.
Yeah, there was a small gauge railroad that came pretty close to us, but I don't remember hearing anybody that came by train. But there also, at one point, the Middlesex Canal, there were boats that went from the canal up the Concord River to bring supplies into, like, Concord. That was for a short time, but yeah, they did that.
From the Middlesex Canal?
Yeah,
And where did they connect with the Middlesex Canal?
I'm not sure.
North Billerica, I wonder? I'm trying to picture where they would meet.
Well, they would have had to come, because that went through Woburn, so would have had to come that way someplace, or over Wilmington way. And I'm not sure where it hit the river, but yeah.
Interesting. Now, were the trolley around?
Yes.
Were you aware of
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay. And did that come near Riverhurst at all?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's why it was the bus that you guys used.
So what did people do here when they were visiting?
Oh, they swam. I think that's why they came up, was because of the water. And it was good water, it was clean water, it was safe water, because the Concord River is very shallow, so there wasn't much chance of anybody getting hurt.
What body of water attracted the most tourists?
In Billerica?
Probably Nettings Lake.
Why?
I think there were more cottages over there. There was more to do. There was a store over there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a roller skating rink. And it would freeze better in the winter for ice skating
Mm-hmm.
because it really wasn't running water.
Right.
So
Was water the only attraction that Billerica really had?
I would say so, because there wasn't anything else here. I know Boy Scouts came up from Everett and camped when they'd go away for their week in the summer. They did that up here in Riverhurst.
So there was a Boy Scout camp there?
Yeah, my dad was there.
Was fishing a big attraction?
Yes, fishing was and still is. It's good fish in the river. They also trapped
Trapped what?
beaver. Yeah. And mink.
Mm-hmm.
And good hunting. It was good hunting on the river, and for a time it was loaded with Indian artifacts along the river. In fact, just across from my house there was an Indian cave. Just as I was very, very young, the people in the neighborhood decided it was unsafe for the kids, and that's where your leaves went every fall. They filled it in.
Did Henry Gibbet Row being on Concord River, did that attract any tourists?
Say it again?
Henry Thoreau camped on the Concord River. Did that attract any tourists, or?
I don't think so. I think they found all that stuff out after they got here.
What kind of businesses were around the area?
Just upriver from me there was a small garage with, I guess a convenience store and an ice house. And across the river there was a little place where you could rent a canoe or a rowboat in the summertime. That's it.
So there wasn't a place to go get ice cream or pizza?
No. When I move up to my space and time, if I wanted an ice cream, we walked down to Bedford Farms.
Wow. Yeah. That's a long walk.
We wanted ice cream.
Were there lots of wealthy tourists, more than just?
Yeah, like I said, most of them were. My grandfather owned a landscaping business. He worked for the doctors from Mass General and from Harvard and all those. The candy man. There was a man that owned a furniture store in the city. There was a man in some of my papers here of shady reputation. They really didn't know what he did. There were a couple of, the police chief from Bedford had a cottage. Police chief from Boston had a cottage. There were two doctors. I'm talking back in the 30s and 40s. Okay? Just so you keep it in.
Mm-hmm.
In later years, the man that owned the New England distribution of Wise potato chips had a place. But then there were a few, just guys.
So when did Billerica become less of a tourist town?
I would say the early 50s.
And why would you say that it is?
Because we got school buses. So the people were staying, And after the Second World War, people had the money to get cars and whatever and move to where they liked to be. And most of the houses, they just insulated and put plumbing into the cottage. And, didn't tear it down and build something else.
Sean, do you have anything to add?
Did the building of the interstate in nearby towns have an effect
Like
on
Route 3?
tourism?
Like Route 3,
Well,
you mean?
that's technically not interstate, but highways in general, did those have an effect on tourism?
No, because Route 3 didn't go into the 50s. Route 4 would have, because it came up from the city, and that was just across the river for, yeah, just up here.
Yeah. And what about 495?
Oh no, that
That's
was
more
much
recent,
later.
right?
Yeah. No, 3A and Route 4 came in from the city. That's it.
Any other questions at this
Of course, down in Pinehurst, there was an airport.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know of anybody. And in the 50s and 60s, in the early 50s, another boat place went in on the other side of Route 4. And he even had gas for your boat. You could buy it right there. There was a plane that somebody that lived over there came in and would land his plane
Oh,
on
a
the river.
seaplane?
A seaplane, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that all you have for this moment?
Was the alleged haunting of Dudley Road an attraction?
I don't know that back in the 40s they did. Yes, it was a walk, but we've all been there.
It was interesting.
Hmm.
So what are the pictures over there that you brought? What kind of things are they?
Mostly river pictures
Mm-hmm.
and some cottages.
Are there any families you kept up with over the years that are still here or have moved up here?
Well, my aunt, the last one,
Mm-hmm.
is a lifelong member of the historical. She,
What's her name?
Eileen Hurley Quinlan Shanahan from
Okay.
St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
She could tell you some good stories.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, she can't be here. And some of the other, in fact, a kid that I babysat for, whose family spent summers there, up to his grandfather, just in the spring, drove into my yard with a lady that spent summers there. She was 92, and he had her out for a drive, and she said, I want to go to the Grove. So they came, and she just sat in the car, and we visited for a while.
Was this off your property? Was there a float out there?
That was down the beach,
Okay.
which is just down from me.
Where the road goes up the hill?
Yeah,
It goes down and
yes,
goes up?
yeah.
Okay. Now, so Ranlet Grove is part of Riverhurst.
Oh no,
Oh, good, explain the
they are
difference.
two separate things. At one time, there was a stone wall across the road,
Oh, okay.
so you didn't belong over there. Till maybe after dark.
So they were two different places.
Absolutely.
Huh. So this is Ranlet's Cove.
That's Ranlet.
So where's Riverhurst from that?
It starts here. This
Oh.
meets that.
Oh, okay. So the beach you just mentioned.
The
Is
beach
this?
is here.
Okay.
And there was a beach in Riverhurst down at that corner.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That was owned by the Bartletts that lived up on the hill,
Okay.
which is now Bartlett's Landing.
Okay. Is there a Bartlett Cove? I have Bartlett Cove in my head.
Nope. Not in Billerica that I know of.
Bartlett Cove. Wonder where I got that from.
It sounds like a nice place.
It sounds familiar to me too.
Yeah.
Might be somewhere else on Concord.
It could be.
Could also be like maybe some fictional thing. Probably, I don't know. But I felt like I've heard that before.
So are these houses next to you? I also noticed these
No.
are winter pictures. They have some winter ones here
Yeah.
too, Brianna.
It's the next road,
Brianna.
the next
Brooke.
road over.
Okay. Is that the 40s?
Hmm.
I say it looks like Gary's dad then. Hillerest. Camp Hillerest.
Hillcrest.
Okay. Oh, that's a fancy K.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in Riverhurst.
Mm-hmm.
Across from the ball field.
You coming around get more cookies?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can have more.
Man, Coming from Neil, out of all people.
That'll get him. He'll come now. These are cool.
They had great ice skating on the river.
Now,
They used to have car races on the ice on the river. That's the Carlisle Bridge out of Bedford Center.
is it a railroad bridge or a road?
No,
It's a road.
it's a road. It was wooden.
Out of Bedford Center.
Yeah.
So is that Route 4?
No. It's
225?
225.
Okay.
That's the government bridge.
Bedford Farms is across the street from Volkswagen
Yeah.
and the
And my
office
computer
building.
froze
My
me
daughter
during
has a
it, so I was
practice
like,
in that
I just
building.
got
She's a
it. I'm
chiropractor.
going.
Oh, I thought she was on Boston Road. She moved.
She is.
Oh, good for her. Good for her.
So I know where Bedford Farms is.
Yeah.
Other questions? Any others? That's it?
Did the Concord River have a lot of flooding?
Oh, yeah. It's mostly floodplain. It would come right up to the houses. When I was little, I could sit on the cellar stairs, put my ice skates on and go, because it was right to the back of the house.
How far? Excuse me. How far is your house from the river? It's quite a ways.
It's quite a ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far? 100 feet? 200?
A couple of hundred, a little more than a couple of hundred. But that's what made the land so fertile, because the river water came up every year and it dropped all its nutrients, made for fertile ground.
Yeah, and your property is wide open.
Yeah, just about.
And can you explain to them why? Because I think this is interesting. Tell them about the reason you couldn't do that yourself, getting rid of the trees.
Well, because you can't cut trees in the floodplain. It's against the law. So the town was putting sewerage in. And against the law, they put it in our property and cut down all the trees. So what once was just a little open space behind the houses with a path to the river is now quite wide open.
Looks about like that.
Yeah.
And she is so blessed to have had that happen because she has no option. She's wide open to the river now and she can look at it.
Even if a tree rots and falls down, which we had one do this winter, I have to get permission to cut it up.
It's that strict. I'm gonna go get these scanned if I may.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have her put a whole bunch on a page
Sure.
just so she doesn't take as long. Thanks. Keep talking, kids, keep talking.
They ran out of questions. When I was in elementary school, my school bus was a station wagon.
It's like they have the minivans, the school buses
Yeah.
now.
I think there were 3 of us on it, in it. And then I took the bus. The town gave me tickets. And I'd walk out to Concord Road, which is quite a walk, and take the bus that came from Arlington Heights up to Lowell and get on the regular people bus.
So what was school like when you were growing up?
I went to the Pollard School first on Andover Road, which isn't there now. And there were 2 classrooms on the first floor, 2 classrooms on the second floor. No lunchroom, no gym, you ate at your desk. And gym was played outdoors.
Where was this?
Pollard School,
Oh, okay.
that's where I started.
So did you get bused up there?
I got station wagoned.
There were so few kids that they could put them in cars.
Yeah. There was, I think I counted the other day, there were 5 kids between the 2 neighborhoods that lived there year round. They went to school.
Year round. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. And after we got a few more kids, I had to walk out to Concord Road and got the bus that came from Arlington Heights up to Lowell. And they gave us tickets so we didn't have to pay. And we took that bus to school.
Cause that'd go right through the center?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And if you stayed after for anything, you walked home.
But you walked a lot then.
Oh yeah. That's how you get anywhere.
If you walked 2.5 miles to Bedford Farms for an ice cream cone, you walked a lot.
We did.
Plus places so you could probably cut through more areas.
Not down there so much.
Now, you were mentioning Colonel Ranlett. Where was he? What did you say? World War One? World War Two?
World War One. He was cavalry. Because when we first had some of the first people that bought cottages, he would ride through on Sundays on a horse and talk to them and, you know, that sort of thing. So they've all seen him. They know him. He was on, keep going down Concord Road, past from Ranlett. I think he was the third house on the right.
Okay.
There's a big barn there, whichever house that is where he lived. And then his father, who was only a captain, Captain Ranlett, his house was up
This side on
this way more, before Route 3, but before Ranlett Lane, it was in there. There's now a Captain's Way named after him.
Oh, okay.
That goes off of Kirkwood.
Captain's Way.
Yeah.
Oh, John Bartlett lives on
behind,
Captain's Way.
No, he lives behind it.
Does he? Oh,
He
okay.
lives on Edgar.
Okay. Kathy Burns lives on Captain's Way
Captain's.
then. One of the Ranletts, I thought it was Colonel, passed away in a wicker chair that we have upstairs in the bedroom.
Lovely.
So we have this chair. It's the big old round.
I had one of his
back
houses.
thing. And there you go.
Yeah.
People who came up that you knew for summer folks, they were mostly Boston and Cambridge. Were there any from Somerville? I know Nuttings Lake seemed to draw Somerville people.
Nuttings Lake was more Somerville because I think they came up Middlesex Turnpike.
Oh, okay, on the trolley, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we
were
where they
both-
went to depended on the transportation.
Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting.
So it was Cambridge, Arlington, down that sort of way.
And so the people from Pinehurst, where would they have come from? Any idea?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I was thinking about that because I kept saying there were cottages in Pinehurst. Why were there cottages? Oh, the Shawshene
Shawshene.
River, of course.
Yeah. Not as nice as the Concord, of course.
Not as big as the Concord, no.
Okay. And where else did you see as summer places?
River Pines,
And where was that?
along Bridle Road.
Oh, okay. Do you know Bridle Road? If you turned right out of the high school onto River Street, go down over the river, turn right. Down
They had
Where
a-
all the streets that end in the wood
Trees.
are.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, they're all trees.
there. Briarwood and all those.
They had a little convenience store there,
Mm.
and that's where you'd go if you had to go buy candy. You'd walk
See,
up there.
that's why I was surprised Riverhurst did, or rather Ranelot's Road, didn't have one of those. Because you gotta have that if you have kids.
Ranelot had, for a very short while, they had a boathouse, and that sold milk and bread, but it wasn't there for very long.
Mm.
You'd go up to the ice house on Route 4.
And whereabouts?
It was on the river,
Okay,
on the left-hand side of Route 4,
okay.
right at the bridge.
Is that where they put the boat place too?
That's across the way.
Okay.
But if you were to stop on there and look, you could see that there's a notch cut out of the river where
Okay.
boats could come in, or they could pull on the ice. They could pull the ice in as they harvested it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there was nice. That's cool.
yeah.
All right. Anybody have any other questions?
The Riverhurst Boathouse
Yeah.
had Saturday night dances in the summertime.
And that's the one you had the picture of.
Yes, and even
someplace.
people that weren't summering there came up from the city for the parties, and they had what they called pie walks.
What's that?
And pie walks are, I guess, for a dime, or for a dime you could buy a pie. Pie walk, almost like musical chairs. They put the pies down,
Hmm.
and you'd walk around, and when the music stopped, if you were in front of a pie, you won the pie.
Pretty good.
Amusement, huh?
And did you pay to be a part of that?
I don't believe so.
So just by doing it, you got a free
Yeah.
pie.
Well, you probably had to pay to get into the dance hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I figured there must be money someplace.
Yeah.
Cool. Any more questions, guys?
And Jug Island,
Yeah.
when it didn't have trees on it, which is just down from just across from the boathouse, if you flew in a plane, before the trees grew up. It looked like an old-fashioned jug. You know,
That's why I
you know,
called it Pitcher.
yeah.
Pitcher Island.
Jug Island.
Mhm.
It was on the Museum of Science when they started having those short films of flying over someplace, and
Mm.
the island was there once. They flew up the Concord River and
Mm.
filmed it.
And you said, oh, there's my house.
Yep.
Mhm. I think it'd be interesting for you to make your way down to the river. Have you made your way down to the river yet from where you live?
When I went to the apartment, I'd always walk down.
But that's the other side. From where you live now, that'd be interesting, and see if you could find, is there any kind of semblance of, you said it was a boathouse on her side, the opposite side of the river?
That was right on Nashua Road, though.
Oh, it was, oh, okay.
There used to be a beach on your side, and it just casually got,
Eroded away?
taken over by the guy that built the house next to it.
Hmm.
But you're very close, I'm guessing, to where Thoreau spent his first night on the river. Do you know where that is?
Not exactly, but
If you would look at the mailbox, the name Howell, Howell. That's their house. It's an outcrop. Their house is right on an outcropping of rocks, and that's where they pulled in and spent the first night because it was up off the water.
You'll have to look that up. Cool. She's a history nut. She's taken 2 history courses right now at the high school.
Wow.
Previously it was 3, but now it's only 2.
Yeah, enough is enough. Colby Road.
I live off of Colby.
You live off of Colby.
I
So,
thought you were
yeah.
on Colby.
Yeah, it's like was originally like connected, but then they built a house, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
Separate pieces.
yeah.
You know where Jay Dodds is?
No.
He drives big trucks with dirt in them.
I think so then.
You go down the road he's on and around the corner. It ends at a house, a cottage, but that's the river right there.
Cool. Well, can you think of anything else, Betsy?
When I get home, I will, yeah.
Yeah, of course you will. And if you do, you can email me any stories and I can pass them on to
Sure.
them.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really think of anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been something else that went on. in the 30s, a group of guys from down the city someplace were stealing car parts, and they brought them up to a cottage in Riverhurst
To hire?
to hide them and sell them out of there. Yep.
That's exciting. Was that the house where the guy lived that you didn't know what he did for money?
It could have been. I'm not sure where he lived. But it's a very nice house, very interesting house. It's just a little old cottage, but you go in the road and it goes down a hill and the driveway's all grown over like this and there's just that one little one down there.
Hmm.
There used to be a bull pasture, Stearns. Had cows in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they took all the dirt to build Route 3.
Hmm.
They took it all out of his cow pasture.
Hmm.
The cows were gone by then.
Yeah, they would have missed it.
Yeah. I had good blueberry picking on the river.
Hmm.
Good blueberries and grapes. Concord grapes.
So is the Concord River still pretty clean, would you say? I mean, it is our drinking water, right?
I would say it's clean. I swim in it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do. And I'm still here.
And I heard you don't have your boat anymore.
Oh, no, I have a boat.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
I can't
It's
imagine
not
you
in
didn't.
yet, but.
She has a pontoon boat.
big pontoon boat.
Mm. Now, is the river higher this year because of all the snow last winter?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's quite low.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you can go under bridges.
Yes.
Now, you said it's shallow, but you have no problem clearing
Sometimes.
because you don't have a big draft in your
No.
boat, do you?
No, we don't. But I've hit rocks.
Mm-hmm.
It depends how high the water is.
Mm. Yeah. And you said because the river's shallow, it's not dangerous. Why? I didn't get why.
Well, it flows very slowly,
Oh,
and
okay.
kids can swim in it safely.
Okay, there's not a strong current.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
It's a meandering river, as
Mhm.
Thoreau called it.
Mm-hmm.
In August, from the beach, most August you can walk across.
Really? Wow. I have kayaked in West Concord, where they have the boathouse.
Uh-huh.
And I've kayaked up to the manse by the bridge, North Bridge. And it is meandering.
Yes. We've taken the boat up past there,
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
up to Fairhaven Bay. We're going by Fairhaven Bay, if the water's just right.
Mm.
But we can't get very far the other way.
Mm-hmm.
When they put, or redid 3A Boston Road,
Mm-hmm.
they took all the rocks and just threw them in the river. So that's all rock.
Mm.
And then you get the current from the dam.
Mm-hmm.
So